to that, and a point pehle chukya nahi kisi ne, and that is a very good and valid point. We need to understand that, and our youth needs to understand that and work with them. Other than that, don't you think a country level they all over, like a kid from Ontario wouldn't know much about Calgary or vice versa? ਕੋਈ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਐਕਸਚੇਂਜ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵੀ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਗ੍ਰੈਜੂਏਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਹਾਈ ਸਕੂਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇੱਥੇ GTA ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ in general, so most of the people I see are first generation Canadians, at least what I see on the streets. ਸਾਨੂੰ Ontario ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ, GTA ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ, but wouldn't know anything about the remote areas, and I'm pretty sure same is the story with the remote areas.
Absolutely.
ਤੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਐਕਸਚੇਂਜ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਯੂਥ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ?
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ, ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਹੈਗੇ ਵੀ ਆ, ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਆਪਣੇ ਕਾਲਜਿਸ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਬਟ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ। ਟਰੂਡੋ ਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਸੀਗਾ where there was an exchange program not only within Canada but also abroad, ਕਿ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇਖੋ, ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਉਹ ਤਜਰਬੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਓ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਮੁਲਕ ਨੂੰ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾਓ। So definitely we want to value foreign experiences, but you're absolutely right, Canada is so diverse. ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ Yellowknife, and ਉੱਥੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, you know, some people were very surprised to see me because they have not seen a person with a turban. And then ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, when you explain to them you represent Canada, you interact with their political officials, you interact with their business officials, you interact with the community, it really dispels a lot of stereotypes, and I learned a lot about the challenges they face in the Northwest Territories, in Yellowknife, and some of the issues they have around jobs, around the mining industry, around, you know, basic internet connection, things that we necessarily may take for granted. So I think you're absolutely right, we need better programs. The Liberal Party, actually the next platform, is looking very seriously at targeting youth, particularly in Canada but also abroad. And not only कि अपने बच्चे से बाहर भेजे कि जेरे बाहर दे leadership वो साडे मुल्क च भी होन. You know, everybody wants to go to Harvard or Yale, right? When it comes to the top leadership in the world, when it comes to education, so that they get that world like Western education or they get top-notch education. We want to create that same level of excitement here with the University of Toronto or York University or other institutions, where जेरी सारी दुनिया दी top leadership इत्थे आन के पढ़े तो वापस अपने मुल्कां च जावे. That creates a lot of goodwill for Canada.
Absolutely.
And it generates a lot of positive goodwill for Canada, and it helps build those relations, not from people to people, but also country to country, because these people are eventually going to run their countries. Senior bureaucracy, political leadership, business leadership, and we want to develop that relationship.
Absolutely. ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ first generation Canadians ਦੀ ਜਾਂ new immigrants ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ, so in general GTA terms, which you are an MP from this very region, Mississauga and Brampton, you could see कि ਜਿਹੜੀ stats Canada ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, in general what we see also with our own eyes कि visible minority is South Asians over here. But जो एक grassroots level से भी एक चीज़ आंदी है कि as हर बंदा सोचता है कि that is there, which is seen, which is said, but when you go into the government offices, the story changes. ਨੌਕਰੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਸਾਡੀ ਉਹ representation ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ. Not to say ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, like we should have our rights, and that is what this country is all about, as far as I understand. ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ 'ਚ ਕਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ 'ਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਇਨ ਜਨਰਲ ਕੀਤੀ? ਮੈਂ ਇਹੀ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ 'ਚ. So they slammed everything on the conservatives, which to some extent might be the case, but is the Liberal Party doing anything to resolve these issues, or at least bring up these issues?
First of all, I think ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ point ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ diversity is important, not because we want people of different color or different faiths to be in a particular decision-making body, but diversity actually is continually being proven to be a success story. When you have diverse opinions, diverse views, then you can do a better job in terms of making decisions, in terms of servicing people. ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ culture ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ, language ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ, history ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ needs ਨੂੰ meet ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ. So diversity is actually important, not because it's self-interest for any particular community. It's good for a collective interest. And diversity, parliament ਚ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ, our political institutions ਚ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ, but also in our bureaucracy. And one thing that we have done is when it comes to diversity, there's still an inequity that exists with gender inequity. So we've brought forward pay equity legislation to offset some of the regressive changes made by the Conservative government. But one thing that I would like us to do, and that we're still formulating ideas around, is the bureaucracy, particularly मैं तो Ottawa ਦਾ example हम दे सकता जी, because it's municipal level ਤੇ provincial च भी हैगी, पर मैं जो अपनी ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਰਿਹਾ federal level, कि in Ottawa ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਲੋਕ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਉਹ 'ਚ diversity ਹੈਗੀ. So if they need engineers, clerks, frontline workers, ਉੱਥੇ ਥੋੜੀ ਬਹੁਤੀ diversity and the change is taking place. But if you look at senior management or management, it is a day and night difference. It is still the old establishment. It is still it's still not reflective of what you talked about, having people feel they have a greater sense of belonging because they see people going through the system and being rewarded. है ना जी? ਉੱਥੇ diversity है नहीं. And the reason is, I believe that ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉੱਥੇ senior management है, there is no consequences for that. So either tie it to the performance, make it part of some sort of incentive program. I'm not talking affirmative action, but I'm talking about encouraging senior management to look beyond simply their inner circle to find talent and to really look out and find the best talent, because our country needs that. When we're dealing with, for example, on a federal level, issues of immigration, Afghanistan, foreign policy, we need that diversity. We need people who understand those cultures, understand those languages, and understand Canada's interest. And therefore, they can then put forward the best set of ideas. And so it's not only at the federal level, but even just at the foreign missions. I believe ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ senior level ਤੇ diversity ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ. Why can't we have people that come from Pakistan or India or China represent Canada in those foreign missions? Because they understand both cultures, they understand both countries, and they understand Canada's interests. Because because people assume somehow, because somebody is of Indian origin or Pakistani origin, that because they may be servicing Canada abroad, that there might be a question of their loyalty. This is not true. And we've demonstrated time and time again. My cousin happens to practice the Sikh faith, has a dadi and a pug, but served the Canadian Army in Afghanistan in 3 missions. So the question of loyalty is, I think, done with. Now it's a question of how do we use our diasporas, leverage our diasporas in such a way where we're able to create a competitive advantage and we're able to better service our country. And that makes us all very proud. Just see, people that we can relate to are given an opportunity to represent Canada. It makes us more proud to be Canadian.
Very true. So coming to this issue, Liberal Party is not in government, which we are truly know. But the frontline opposition, Liberal Party अपनी leadership ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, central leadership ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਇਹ display ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ visible minorities ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ representation ਦੇਵੇ?
Well, Liberal Party now at leadership level and through our history knows that visible minorities very much are part of our success story. Okay, not only at a political level, but also because different communities have built this country. Immigrant communities are a nation-building communities. We see this when we go back with the Ukrainians, prior to that the Chinese. Now we see it with newer Canadians coming in. Different generation of immigrants have built this party, and different generations have built this country. And the party understands that more than ever. Politics is a numbers game. And you said very clearly that the visible minorities you see everywhere. In some cases,
it's
they're
not me. It's that Canada.
Yeah, exactly. No. And the point is, in some cases, they're not even the minority. They're the majority.
Absolutely.
So sometimes the term is not inaccurate, because when you say visible minority, you get the impression that haje bhi minority che. But in instances, they represent 40, 50, 60, 70% of the population in a particular constituency. And so that is the reality. And I believe that the political leadership, but not only the Liberal Party, but I think politics in general is beginning to understand that there needs to be a greater effort put in to integrating Canadians in a more meaningful way. Because it's good for our country and politically it's beneficial as well. And that's why the Liberal Party, we're very blessed to have good representation of different communities in the House of Commons. We can do a better job when it comes to some of our party organization structures, our board of directors, our national directors. I think we take some positive steps, but we could do better. So I'm not saying we're perfect. I think we can do a lot more work, and I'm confident we will start to see those changes in the near future.
Because GTA being a stronghold, Liberal Party of Canada's stronghold, I would say, we feel that, and I'm talking again from the grassroots levels, that central JD party the command ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਸਾਡੀ representation ਇੰਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, but that could be a wrong impression.
Yeah.
So I would like you to shed some light on it and at least carry a message from the grassroots levels, and I'm saying it on an honest basis.
Yeah. And I think that's it's not only with particular minorities, grassroots in general. There's a sense of apathy. There is a sense of discontent. There's a sense of disengagement. Generally, people, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਰ election 'ਚ voter turnout ਘਟ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ.
Absolutely.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ municipal level the voter turnout ਘਟ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. People generally aren't connected to politics. So it doesn't necessarily apply to minorities. It's a phenomenon across the board. And we are taking notice. And we put forward packages on democratic renewal, on democratic reform, how to better engage people.